So what do you think is the essence of Ciera that existed in you that made it so that you were like, you know what, I'm getting started. I'm going to make this happen, that people should maybe look into maybe nurturing within themselves? Because, yeah, there's a ton of people that might be sitting on the sideline, but here you were
Mhm.
maybe in a similar circumstance and you said, screw this, we're going forward. What do you think made you have that mindset to start with?
My trauma. I'm afraid of being broke. That is what's guided me along the way. I mean, there's a chapter in the book that says use trauma as your motivator because that's what I had to do. My trauma of not being a broke again or not having a home again is so like apparent that it motivates me and I have to make it work. Like I have such a fear of going back to the way that I used to be that is what's propelled me forward.
Interesting. Is that what still propels it today? Because I'm going to want to dig on this part because I have these
Okay.
traumas and things that get my ass kicked in certain instances, but then I'm wondering if it's actually a sustainable fuel.
I still have it. I still, if I have a sell, if I have, I was just talking about this earlier. If I have a low sales day, I still have that trauma. I'm like,
Ugh.
the jig is up. I'm failing. I'm gonna go back to the.
You're like, damn.
I'm gonna go back to, and it's not healthy, but it's gonna be there. I don't think it's ever gonna go away, honestly. And I don't know if it ever should. I like the little reminder of like where I've been. I don't want to forget that. It's not always a great thing because on a low sales day, I shouldn't be freaking out about being homeless. But also, like if I use it to my advantage when I can, then I can. There's a balance there. So yeah, I think it's going in a way. Whatever your trauma is, you're just gonna have to like move it to the side or try to wrap it up in a bow.
Yeah. You know,
If it ever goes away, it doesn't for me.
there's a part of me that's like, well, that's probably not what like psychologists recommend. But then there's a part of me
I
that's like,
know.
I actually am motivated by very much fears. Whether like I'll share something from my side, which is like as soon as I gain a bit of weight, I get like very negative in the mirror, and I'll be like, you hit the gym and like do something about this, and like make like you don't want to become like yeah, and I get really mean with myself, right? But then it kind of kicks my butt, and then I end up doing like Spartan races and like I go running and I lift weights, and then like I'm like great, I'm back. I like this. And so
Yeah,
I don't know
and I
if
look
it's
good.
yeah, and I'm like this works for
I
me. So I
mean,
don't know if
it's the
it's
it's based off of what works for you. If you can do it in a healthy way, as long as you're not always beating yourself up about it. And you know what I mean? Like it's just a balance. I'm not into that. I don't want to give advice. I just know that that's what works for me. My trauma hasn't left me. And it's worked on just like learning how to use it. Cause you're using, I mean, yeah,
yeah.
if it
Well,
helps you to look
it's interesting because even on the money side, like everyone has such blocks when it comes to money making. And quite frankly, I've worked with a lot of people that are striving entrepreneurs, and I could see all of the money blueprints kind of coming into play, different kinds of traumas. And sometimes they motivate people towards doing things that actually produce results in the world. And sometimes it just completely paralyzes people. And it sounds for you, you've been in the group where it's like, okay, it's motivated. I bet that all of the richest people on the planet are motivated by some sort of trauma, even if they're in the millions, billions, and like the rich on the planet. It's like, it's not enough. And this like not
yeah,
enough is
I'm going to
it's pushing
prove
some
my
people.
father wrong.
Right.
Like,
Are you proud now, Daddy?
it does. It helps. I don't know why. It's just such a like kick in the ass that we all need. Whatever it is, like it's kind of like I'm not gonna end up like that, or I'm gonna prove you wrong, or I don't know. It works for us.
Do you think there's a money that like an amount that you can have that at that point you're like, okay, now that this is done, the trauma is okay?
Maybe. Yeah, probably. But then there's other traumas. There's like stability. You know, I have a whole package of them. That's just one of them. I think it'll move to the next. It'll move to the next one from there. Uh,
Well, I find that it's kind of like, healing and therapy by at least making a ton of money, connecting with epic people, and just like, you call it like
mhm.
moving forward in spite of all of these things. Like you even have this whole mindset that you talk about in the book, which is around like tackling things that seem impossible. And you have this like trauma as a motivator. But when you see things like maybe you had to break through a new deal, or you're seeing the cash flow is not so good and you're having a bad sales day. Like, how do you respond to these negative things that are happening in, say, the market out of your control, and you're like, oh my God, I need to get back on my feet? Like, what's the energy and the activity that you see motivate yourself to do in those moments?
I feel like because I built it once, I could do it again. Like, worst case scenario, I've always said, if Babes never makes another dime, I'll sell paper towels, or I'll sell like headphones, or I'll become an audio engineer. Like, I'm just so motivated to not oh, that's next. I'm so motivated to not go back to the way. Wait, I think that gives me peace, the fact that I know that I could build something, and I hold confidence in that, and that keeps me from going crazy, honestly.
Well, I'll say two things on that. One is funny because I did have a company selling headphones, and I lost so much money. It was my first e-commerce thing. I bought way too expensive inventory. I realized how much you need to mark up a product to actually make a profit online. And I just wrote off the whole inventory.
What were you marking it up? Sorry, I'm asking all your business.
Yeah, well, okay, I'll tell you this. I was buying these headphones at like, what is it? I think it was around like $30 a pair, and trying to sell them for $100. No, that's not true. They were like $67.
Okay,
like,
I must say
they
those
were
are
really expensive.
Those are okay. Okay, 67. No, that's not gonna do anything for you in your life.
No, I had to sell them for $200, but then the quality of what they were at the I looked at the market, and it was like $120. And I was like, there's not enough margin for me to make even, and so I just wholesaled them to. Anyways, that's another story. So if I need to go into e-commerce, I know who to talk to. People do not listen to me when it comes to e-commerce. Please pick up Outsider Advantage. It's going to be on sale right now. You got to go grab that. Do not listen to Jason Marc Campbell. He will lose money. But if you go into doing this with Babes, you will have way more success.
You'll have so much money.
Thank you so much for listening to the Selling with Love podcast. We have some previous episodes you can tune into right here. And if you prefer the short form content where you get to the point in under 10 minutes, we do have a ton of clips from our best episodes that are being shared on this channel as well. So pick which one supports you the most. And of course, thank you for liking, subscribing, and of course, selling with love.